Welcome, everybody, to Bauer's House Podcast, Episode 6. And today we got two guests. We got Vinny and Nick, aka the Vintage Voyagers. Found their content on TikTok, had to get them on the pod. Their content is all centered around retro and nostalgic video games, which are always fun topics to talk about on the podcast for sure. So thank you both for being here today. Appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So guys, I saw in quite a few of your videos, you guys are filming in yestercades
Yes.
of Red Bank. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep, that's correct.
So are you guys from there originally?
Yeah, I'm from Red Bank, so I grew up in Lincroft. Born and raised here. Been here for 22 years now. Yeah, almost 23. But I go to school. We all went to school in Middletown, so all from around New Jersey, Jersey Shore.
Yep. I'm from Middletown, 2 seconds from Red Bank. Pretty much the same spiel. Been here my whole life. It's great. Love it.
That's awesome, because when I saw Red Bank, I'm like, oh shit, they're from Jersey, because I grew up in Bergen County, like up until I was like 9 or 10.
Awesome.
Oh, not too far.
So not too far. Yeah. And what would you say is like, what was it like growing up in Middletown?
I mean, growing up in Middletown it was pretty solid, I would say. I really had no complaints.
Yeah, you have your groups of friends, all bunch of different kind of kids. You just find your way through, find the kids that you get along with the most, and it's like any other town, really. There's
Yeah.
nothing great about it. There's nothing
Pretty
boring.
average,
Yeah,
I would
there's
say.
Everything, what I like about Jersey, at least when I was growing up, was like how accessible everything was. Like you could just like walk to places, I feel like, because all the towns are like so small. Like you could just get on a bike, go to like a 7-Eleven down the street or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
we're like 10 minutes from the beach, so we're like you said, we're near everything.
That's one of the reasons why I love the location of Middletown or Monmouth County in particular, because we're close to the beach, we're close to the city. I got family in all New York, so it's just a great location and a great place to grow up in.
One of you guys said you went on vacation to Utah recently.
That was me.
That was you? Oh, okay. Do
Yeah,
you have
wearing
family out there
sweatshirt.
too, or?
Nah, I actually just went out there to on a ski trip with some of my family.
Oh,
And,
okay. That's
yeah,
cool.
it was my first time out west, so pretty awesome experience.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. There's a lot of good skiing places too around Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
curious to see. They just built that what is it called? Not Mall of America, or American Dream.
American
They
Dream.
just built that like monstrous mall in the Meadowlands, and they have like a ski slope, an amusement park, a water park, like everything in the mall. But there's ski
Isn't it-
slopes there, so
Isn't it like Nickelodeon themed too?
yeah.
Like,
one of
the
the
amusement park?
one of the things are.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I didn't go there when I was living in Jersey, because I was living in Jersey like a couple of years ago. I've like flopped back between Georgia and New Jersey for like over the years, but I miss it. I really do. Like I miss New York City a lot. I used to go to like Ranger games all the time.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
a big hockey fan, and it's just great being that close to New York City.
Yeah, there's a
Absolutely.
ferry port by us that is like 35 minutes if you hop on the ferry. So it's
Yeah.
like perfect. There's obviously you could take the train, it's like a little longer, but the ferry is like great. You literally hop on, you're there in 30 minutes and you're in the heart of New York City. So
It's awesome.
it's a cool, yeah. We take it for granted though. Like now that everything's locked down, it's a little different, but because we're so close to it, it's like, oh, it's New York, like whatever. But people travel around the world to go there, and we just, we don't, being that COVID now, we don't, we can't go to certain places depending on whatever, but we definitely we should have gone a lot more and checked out. There's like retro stores all throughout the city too that we didn't even
Yeah.
know about, so we'll have to try and make it out there.
Definitely gonna have to hit those up at some point.
That's what I love about the cities. I feel like no matter how many times you go, you can always discover something new.
Absolutely.
I remember going to Barcade. Did you guys ever go to Barcade?
Arcade. Why does that sound so
Arcade.
familiar? I don't think so, but I've heard of it.
So they have one in Jersey and in New York City, and oh my gosh, just like so many retro cabinets that they have there, and it's just awesome. Pinball, everything.
That's cool.
Sounds great.
Yeah. And what made you guys want to start your TikTok?
It's crazy. Like, we were sitting here, and we've been, both playing these games for our whole lives. Like, we grew up on the PS2, I would say. Like, I had a
PS2.
PS1, but mainly the PS2, but we've been playing our whole lives, and it's like it's gotten
Yeah.
to the point of where we just didn't feel the same about the new games coming out. Like, I bought a PS4, I played, Uncharted, all the great games, but there was no, like, it's not the same. And I was thinking, is it because we grew up on them? Like, is there that? But then I started playing them again. I'm like, I feel like they put more care into the older, like, system games. So one night we were watching YouTube or something, and we were like, why don't we just start, like, we know people out there love these games and might have just forgotten about them or want to remember the times they had with those games, and we wanted to share, like, oh, remember this game, like. And we started, I mean, you could see our channel, like, we started out, it wasn't that good, but with repetition and just seeing what works, what doesn't,
Experience, man.
yeah, testing the field, and it just started clicking.
That's the
Absolutely.
case with TikTok, I feel like, is it's a lot of trial and error initially. Like I must have made at least like 50 videos until finally I started to see like what stuck. And I noticed the same thing with your guys' content is it's just like progressively you're seeing like what works, what doesn't, and then you really hit your footing
Yeah.
with like even just I saw a recent one of you guys just stacking all the games that you guys I'm like so freaking cool. And like is it both of you guys that have such a big collection, or is it just like one of you guys that have like amassed this collection of games over time?
So the craziest part is the stacking one. So we did the one in front of the Christmas tree. That was like both of our games, but some missing. The game stacking one was just mine, and Vinny has a bigger collection than me. So those
Oh
weren't
wow.
even in it. So like we have, I don't know how. Like I was trying to, my, my parents and my brother was like, I don't even know how we amassed this amount of games. People are like, you have so many games. I guess I just didn't even think about it because, birthday, everyone would get you a game or whatever. Like I'd always just collect them, and now they're like some of those games are $5. Like you go to a retro store, you just look at it. I'm a big believer in, like, especially that PS2 era. Pick up a game that has a cool cover and just pick it up. If it's cheaper than like $7, just see if it's any good. And luckily, like, I haven't hit any like really bad games yet, but yeah, we have a crazy collection, and it's wild because a lot of people that like ask, "Hey, do you have this game?" I'm like, "Oh my god, I actually do." Like
Yeah.
most times we have the games that people are asking for than not have, which I think is like pretty crazy.
It's also funny because like I have older siblings, so throughout the years, they always, my brothers grew up with the N64, Super Nintendo, and I was brought into that at such a young age, and I really, it took me some time to actually appreciate that sort of gaming where it's like now like I'll go like I just found my Super Nintendo and just got all the cobwebs off of it, and it's just like going back to play some of those games is just incredible. It's like, man, especially when you're playing games today, it's you don't realize how good simple can be sometimes
That's a
too.
fact.
Why do you guys think kids today should play older games?
I think at least for me, the biggest thing that games lack nowadays is like creativity. So like when just think about it, right? Fortnite came out. What came out after that? Apex. It's the same game, right?
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna get heat for that, but it's essentially the same concept game. Then guess what? COD was like, hey, we'll come out with another game just like that. Like, it's such a, I don't want to say money grab because there are those passion projects out there, but like, yeah, certain consoles back then kind of had the same style of games, but at least for me growing up on the PS2, a lot of the games were like very different. You can go from playing a movie-based game like King Kong to playing like Star Wars Battlefront. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if it's just I'm biased because we grew up on that system, but I just feel like there's so much creativity and there was so much funding in like smaller companies for these gaming projects that you'd get a crazy game out of it, and it's not the same anymore. There's so much backing and money in like the industry now that, like, I don't know, maybe it'll change with the PS5, but I felt like the more recent systems have just let me down personally.
Yeah, I could see that too. Like, there's just certain companies. I feel like video game companies, when they start out, are just so passionate. Like Blizzard, when they first started out, it was just like a few guys that were just really passionate about making PC games. And then look at where they are now.
Right.
Yep.
Literally teamed up with Activision, Microsoft recently.
Yep.
Mhm.
And it's just when a gaming company gets that big, they lose sight of where they initially started. And I think that's where they want to jump on the trends, like you said with COD, saying, "Oh, we got to make Warzone. You know,
Right.
we got to jump on the battle royale trend." And it's kind of sad in a way because that's where those retro games just had so much passion.
I mean, we already did a video on it, but one of my favorite companies is like Naughty Dog. Like, thinking how
Yeah.
they stuck to their way. Like, I feel like they never really deviated from that path of like, we're just gonna make the best game possible. Like, sometimes, some people don't like certain games in their franchises, but like overall, I mean, you look through their list and you're like, wow, like
It's just straight quality.
Yeah, like consistency, just
consistency.
consistent quality.
And I feel like
Yep.
that's just because it was built off of people that genuinely love gaming. Like, it wasn't, let's say, like merged into or worked with another company. Like, it was Naughty Dog. Like,
Yeah, for sure. Like I remember the first few Crash Bandicoots. Like it's the one that comes to mind for me is the third one, Warped. I
Warped.
played that for my PS1, and you were talking about game covers. I loved the cover of that one. Like
Yeah.
he looked so badass. He's on like a freaking motorcycle and everything. And
And I even loved like Crash Team Racing. I know it was like a Mario Kart, not knockoff, but they were competing with Mario Kart for the time. But like, they put the care into it that, at least for the PS1, that I think, like, they just have so many games with Uncharted, The Last of Us, like so many. There's a lot of companies like that. So
I had such an appreciation for racing games at that time. Like even if it was Mario Kart or like Diddy Kong Racing and all those like kind of racing games geared towards kids. Like I was more a fan of those than I was like let's say fast forward to now like Forza and the ones
yeah,
that like
oh yeah.
people
Absolutely.
really
You
take
know why? They're
seriously.
just more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they're just more fun to play. Like, I'd rather sit down and play that with three of my friends than jump into Forza and you make one gear shift that's wrong and you crash and you're like, oh, I rage quick. I have a short temper. So now that they make these games harder and like more complex,
You don't
I
even
just
want to
think
waste your
they're,
time.
yeah, like sometimes it just angers me. Like, I think for us, at least for me, like, yeah, there's a challenge aspect involved, but video games for me is just like having fun. And I just feel like a lot of these games recently have been like a task to play. I haven't been
Yeah.
excited to play it.
Yeah, like I feel like the learning curve is so steep for games now. Like especially you mentioned Fortnite. It's like Fortnite, you got to know the freaking building aspect on top of surviving.
Like, you better
And
know Builder
If
Pro.
if you don't know, if you don't know how to
Exactly.
build on Fortnite, it's gonna be a rough day.
And like, I find that, in a sense, I find that so fascinating because there are people out there that can do it. Like, some of these gamers, bro, like, they're super talented, and like, I'm not knocking it. Like, they can literally build a fortress in 2 seconds, and it's like, I couldn't do that.
Wow.
and we're seeing these like pro gamers as like super young too. Like cuz Fortnite's base is like pretty it's like young kids. It's like
Yeah.
but it's amazing at how like insanely good they are at the game. Like especially like the building aspect and the way that they move the camera when they're freaking building like the Empire State when you shoot them
even
once,
their accuracy too.
It's funny because I remember, when we were growing up, the big thing is like having all these little kids on like Call of Duty, that were like really good. And I feel like that was like our generation. And then Fortnite came around, and now, we're a little bit older, and now that's what the younger kids have been drawn
taken
to.
at us.
Yeah.
Because we were in college like while Fortnite dropped, so we were both like, I'll never forget it. Fortnite came out, and 3 sets of dorms together put all of their TVs in one room, and we ran like squads when it like just came out. So like everyone was together, like talking, like in the same room, and like you said, you were like there were kids on there chirping at you, and I was like, wow, this is what we were to the MW2 lobbies with people in college. So
Absolutely.
I talked about it with my last guest, and we're wondering like how far will battle royales really go? Like, is it really gonna last? It makes you wonder if in 5 years' time, Fortnite is still gonna be like, or even Warzone, if it's still gonna be like a thing.
I mean, it's crazy you say that because I would have already thought by now it wouldn't be a thing, and it still is.
Yeah.
I want to say it's the fact that it's competitive. Like the competitiveness of that, like I'll never forget in the beginning when it was just like, I don't know if they had duos or whatever, but when you were playing just solo, it was 100 people, there was no power-ups, nothing. Like it was just, there was strategy too. Like you could stealth the whole way. Like I won a game once, I'll never forget. I didn't kill a single person. Like it just so happened that I made it in the cloud or whatever, the circle, and he couldn't make it in time. So like I won the game while not even firing a shot. So like, it's a strategy, but there's a competitiveness aspect. And I think honestly, a big reason why the game was huge, it's free.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like they started thinking differently. Let's not get the initial $60, $70 for the game. Let's see if we can get the game purchases. So it like looks at gaming in a different way too, which like is just, maybe that's another reason
Changed
why
the
it's
game, man.
so like known.
It really did. Fortnite changed the game because it had Call of Duty hop on, Apex.
I mean, think about it. Call of Duty made a free game, right? Warzone's free, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Warzone is free. It isn't the irony of it funny. It's like it's free, but they make so much money.
Oh, yeah.
Free in quotes.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like evil in a sense. They're just like preying on these kids that they know, like, oh
V-Bucks!
yeah, they're gonna,
Yeah, Mom.
they're gonna, they're gonna get the skins. They're gonna get the battle pass. Look, Halo Infinite, came out recently, and like you can't even earn skins for free. It's
That's
like
insane.
You gotta get the battle pass in order to
The one thing that I thought was really cool about Fortnite that I didn't even know is like you can earn your chance to get a battle pass. Like I thought that was so cool. Like I'm pretty sure you can like make whatever the V-Bucks in the game to pay for your battle pass.
They're like, you just need to play for like 100 hours.
Impossible.
Oh, I'm sure it's ridiculous, but like
it's
it's still
probably
cool that you
impossible.
could even do that.
I still remember the day that I caved and I bought the battle pass for the first time. I was like, I'm not spending any money on this game. And then I got kind of good on it. I got a couple dubs and I was like, all right, I guess I got to get the battle pass.
I stopped playing season 3. They added the like vending machines and stuff. And it's not that I like, it's not because they added too much. I just lost interest.
You missed out on a big opportunity, bro. You could have used that as a strategy. You could have hidden behind the vending machine in the circle.
That was my thing. No one wanted to play with me because I looked at Fortnite from a complete different perspective. Mine was, how can I do the least work and get the furthest? Everyone lands in like, what is it? One of the towns,
Tilted
and they
Towers.
they land in the most outrageous tilted towers and they attack everybody. I landed on the most corner of the map and just waited. I was patient, and that's why people never wanted to play with me.
And Fortnite gives you that opportunity too, compared to the other battle royales, because you can like hide in a bush that you can like walk around in, and so I guess that's kind of cool if that's if you're gonna go with that strategy.
Right.
But like I've even when in times that I've played it, and I'd be like in the dropping phase. I'd be like, how did someone drop on, like, how did they land quicker than
Yeah,
I
already.
landed?
Yeah, they
Like,
wouldn't even.
yeah, like, what are they doing differently that like I'm doing? That's what
Yeah.
I've never understood.
Now there's
but
portals. There's like it's like
I
insane.
haven't touched Fortnite in probably months, years. I don't even know, but the game has definitely evolved.
have you guys gotten into Apex at all?
I actually haven't played Apex. I heard it was cool. Like I heard it was a good game.
I played it a little bit. Not I definitely didn't play it as much as Fortnite. But I liked it. It's it's one of those games that it just kind of felt a little repetitive, so I just never really, I kind of put my heart and soul into Fortnite for a little bit, and I was like, do I want to do it with Apex too? Because I just figured the same thing was gonna happen, where I would just get sick and tired of, the same thing. But
Is there a game that comes to mind that you really tried hard to get good at and like it just didn't, like for me, I'll just quickly start off by saying Overwatch was the one for me where I
Overwatch.
really tried. Like I tried to learn like the freaking characters and learn like the strategies with
Yeah,
them
and who's good and what.
and who's good with what, and it did not pan out for me. And it's like I do not have what it takes to become like a pro gamer. I feel like it's just so tough. You have to log so many hours.
Game I tried to get really
see,
good
the
at.
problem with me is like I don't have much patience with games. So if I don't like it, sometimes like I'll play it for a little bit and then I'll just won't touch it ever again.
No, I would say we tried to. I don't know if you play NHL, but we tried to play EASHL. We had like a filthy team, Division 2. We got into
Oh wow.
Division 1. Our friend logged on, played as deep, like he would play as left defenseman and not play defense.
Mm-hmm.
So we would just lose every game, and we dropped to like Division 4, and I gave up.
Yeah.
We played a lot of that.
I feel like a lot of the sports games I generally give up on though, because I just play online against these kids that literally don't touch any other game, and I get my ass kicked, and it's just not it's not enjoyable at that point.
Battlefront 2, when like it was huge on the PS2, I played. I can't even tell you. I don't even know if you could log in and see how many hours, but I would say I got like competitively good that when that was like around. But other than that, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm a story first person or like dual screen, split screen, offline player. I never got into like competitive online. I played MW2, the CODs, but I like playing like a Scarface or a King Kong or like a movie based game or something that like Uncharted where it's just heavily story driven.
It's funny, I laugh when I think of movie-based game because all I think of is just it's filled with bugs. You know, like like some of the Spider-Man games, I loved them. And I saw that you guys cover them, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I remember being so excited to play Spider-Man 3 for Xbox 360. Pop that thing in and I'm freaking glitching through every single wall.
We just got a hold of Spider-Man 3 on PS2. So I never played that. I only had 1 and 2. I heard it was so bad and I never decided to get it, but I was like, I have to get it now just to see. I heard it's terrible.
Did you guys play the Spider-Man for PS1?
That's the same one for the N64, I think.
Is it?
It is. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
so
yeah.
It's just the top of the roofs, right? The rooftops.
Yeah, and they had so many villains in that one. Like
Yeah.
they had Venom, Electro, Shocker, Scorpion, like all, you name it. And that one was really good. I had a lot of good memories playing that one. But the web slinging though with Spider-Man 2, was really good though. That's where I feel like in that era they really perfected the web.
I was going to say, that's funny you say that, cuz I was going to say Spider-Man 2 was the peak of Spider-Man. Like that game took everything from 1, improved it, and just made such a great story. It was open world. Like that game was probably one of the top 5 games that I played, like hours wise.
And then the one for that Insomniac Studios made for PS4, and then Miles Morales PS5. Those are just
in the middle
amazing.
of Miles Morales right now. It's incredible. Just everything, and the amount, like, I just got platinum on for the trophies on PS4, so the amount of hours I put in that game is incredible.
The only complaint I have about that game, I couldn't stand when, I forget, was it Oscorp took over and the whole city was like soldiers everywhere. You were swinging and missiles were
Yeah.
locking onto you. It's like, come on, bro. I just want to play the game. Like, I get it was like an aspect, like they took over the city. It's supposed to like create havoc and order or whatever, but that pissed me off.
Yeah, no, it's I think they really took Spider-Man games into a really good direction there.
No pizza
And
delivery mission though.
oh, that's
Come on.
see, that's where they got to fix that. They got to
They-
put some like DLC for just
Yeah.
that.
They had the reference to the balloon kid with the drawing,
Mhm.
but no balloon kid side mission.
Oh,
What's
that's
going on?
crazy.
I gotta call up Insomniac.
Call them up, man. They gotta fix this. You see, this is the good thing about games today is if you complain enough and you get enough people to complain, you can get them to make some pretty big changes.
That's a fact.
Or put out some new DLC for you. I feel like back in the day we didn't have that. It's like here's the game.
You get what
It's
you
like
get.
But
you get what you get here. Donkey Kong
Yep.
64. You don't get any fixes after that. Shit. You know, you're getting the game with bugs and all, and you got to deal with it.
I feel like that's what made some of those games great though. Like they had the pressure of this has to be like close to perfect. Because they can't
Yeah.
update it. They can't add to it. They can't now you get like I forget, somebody said they got a game on the new PS4 or 5. They put it in and the next day there was 100 GB update.
Oh my gosh,
crazy.
yeah.
Like
That's like with Call of Duty too. Like all the updates, you have to buy like a freaking hard drive for each one.
yeah.
Like
Call
that's
of
so
Duty's the king
insane.
of updates.
Oh,
And
they
we have
are.
like there's so many theories. Like I think it's literally just because like obviously the size of like the maps, the graphics, whatever. But some people believe like they purposely make these things huge, so that's the only game on your system, so you play it more. And like, you can't say it's not true, but you know,
Yeah. It's funny because I saw you guys did a video about state of emergency. When I saw that, I'm like, no way. You guys brought me so back with that
Yeah.
one. Oh my gosh.
It's funny you mentioned that because, like I said, I have 3 older siblings, so I was playing that game at God knows what age. And I was in my basement. I was like looking back behind my shoulder, making sure my mom wasn't coming downstairs But that game is another classic for me. Just something I grew up on, and I mean, there's nothing you can't like about it. You just it's amazing, man.
And it's made by Rockstar Games, guys, the
Yeah.
kings of controversy in video games, and like they just never pulled any punches with anything they made. They made Manhunt, and that got banned in freaking certain countries. Grand Theft Auto, of course.
Yep.
And so when I saw that State of Emergency was a Rockstar game, I'm like, why am I not surprised?
Yeah, of
This
course.
game is gangs and blood and violence, and
Yeah.
I don't even think my parents ever gave a shit about the games I played. And I played the crazy Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
freaking. I allude to this game a million times on this podcast, but I always have to say, Conker's Bad Fur Day. That game for the N64 was just. It fooled so many parents. They're thinking the squirrel on the cover, it's harmless. You play it and it's the freaking
drunk.
Matrix references. He's drunk. He's pissing
Yep.
on freaking. It's just like
The giant
so-
poop.
yes, the great mighty poo. Oh my gosh, so freaking good. Oh my god, I just loved how even during that time they were really pushing boundaries with games.
Oh yeah. And it's
You know.
in today's gaming, like, I mean, obviously there's a lot of stuff that is brought into the gaming world that's inappropriate, but they have to be, they have to.
They walk the fine line.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. That you see, this is why I feel like kids today should go back to these games. Like I feel like they're missing out on
Well, they're even
so
missing it.
many things.
They're even missing out on those games that just like sucked, but you're like, wow, they even made a game for that? Like we put
Right?
this like Shamu post up. Like I don't even know why I have that game, nor do I know how I got it. But like it's the fact that there even was a game like that. I know they have random games nowadays, but they're not like the random games are like fantasy games now. They're not like actually like I don't know. They don't make movie-based games anymore. Now that I can't think of any off the top of my head other than like Spider-Man, but it's not like the movie, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Right.
they you have to go back. Like these are games that you have to play.
Oh yeah, of course. And because there's a good amount of them that still hold up, you know. Like there's certain ones that I'll play where I'm like, oh god, I can't. I can't play this. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's not keeping my attention, but I could still play freaking Mario All-Stars for the Super NES and, you know, and all those classic Mario 64 and I love the fact that they're remastering these games. But as long as they are faithful and they do it right and they're not doing
I
it
say yeah,
as a cash grab.
just update the graphics. Like don't change the gameplay. Maybe make this mechanics a little smoother, but like don't change a lot.
Or fix things that were wrong in the original and should be fixed.
Right.
Absolutely.
But they shouldn't fix some of the glitches though, because the glitches in those old games are what make speedrunners like that's what causes speedrunners to like break records, you know, like to beat Mario 64 in like 5 minutes because they
Right.
figured out that they could do like some fucking backflip
could
shit
jump.
and
Yeah.
fly through. When I first saw even the concept of speedrunning, I'm like, this is insane. Like the fact that people figured out ways to just take a game and break the shit out of it to beat it is just
Yep.
insane. And
Incredible, man.
I don't know if you guys follow like the speed running competitions that they do every year or anything like that, but
No.
it's just so crazy how every year people are just finding ways to just beat these games in a heartbeat, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. And so also guys, congrats on 20K. When I saw it, I was
thank
so
you.
happy for you
Appreciate
both.
it.
And listen, I know TikTok is the platform for some solid growth. I found personally Instagram and the other ones are a little tougher. I feel like the toughest out of all of them is YouTube. YouTube, you really gotta bring your A game to amass a following.
I run a music business through YouTube, so I do like type beats to try and like get people to my website to purchase beats. It that's the most grueling platform because they're not even open with what they want you to do.
Oh wow.
Like, right, I use the tags and I use like vidIQ and other SEO analytic websites, but it doesn't. It's the toughest platform.
And YouTube is trying to get like TikTok with like shorts, like
Yeah.
doing that whole thing. But I always associate YouTube with long form content, like 30
Right.
minutes, hour, 15, like stuff like that.
Yeah, 15
Absolutely.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to they're competing with TikTok right now for like total watch time ever. So I can see why they're trying to push towards the shorter content, but it's like stick to what you're good at. Like that's what I think a lot of these companies have to do.
Oh yeah.
The best part about TikTok is like anyone can see it. Like you don't have to follow them or discover somebody. Like it's put in front of you. And that's why I think people can grow so quickly. Like we grew
That's why we grew.
right in 2 months, 2.5 months, we hit 20,000 just because we're consistent and you know we don't have to rely on people like discovering our page. It's literally put on someone's For You if you're lucky enough to get on there, and from there it just takes off.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think there's so many eyes on TikTok, but you just have to make your content the right way on there. It's like make it so that it's like get to the point type of content.
It's actually we had a
We
conversation
learned that the
about
hard
this.
way in the beginning.
Not only did we learn that, but we were talking about it. It's harder almost in a sense. Like missions that we want to show off, like we need to find like the best 10 seconds of it. And people are like, you can put up 4 minutes of it. Yeah, I could, but it's not going to do any good views because like you said, you need to see like the game in 10 seconds.
Right.
Because there's people out there that will watch 3 of it. Like the attention span is not there anymore.
Yeah.
YouTube, there is. People will watch 30 minutes. Twitch, people will watch us play for hours. TikTok is not that platform. You better be hitting like 11 to 13 seconds. You start pushing over that. Some people, their page, it is that. It is over that, but it's what you have to consistently stick to the same window of time.
Oh yeah. Like I feel like for years I've been experimenting with what platform is the best, and I just think TikTok is definitely the number one because that fed into like people visiting my YouTube and then going to my Instagram, and
Yep.
so
Well, another reason is it's all visual, right?
yeah.
Like Instagram, it's a picture. Now they're doing reels, but before it was a picture or a video, which you could do, but TikTok, like everything is visual about it. There's audio, there's music, there's everything is right in front of you. And the way that they're smart. They made the whole screen. You know what I mean? It's not just a window, it's the entire screen. It's immersive. Like they know what they're doing.
It amazes me too how like there's so many different platforms to watch games now versus before. Like I remember growing up as like you just watching a brother or a sister playing games, and like that was like Twitch then, you know.
Yeah.
But then now it's like you have people live on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, everything. And there's
Yep.
so much content to choose from. It's
everywhere.
oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, we were discussing, we have to start branching into Twitch because a lot of people are like, we want to see you play these games. Like, they want to see more of the game. It's just like finding the time. We need to get a right setup for it to make sure it's like running smoothly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of prep to get there, but
I found it funny how like on TikTok, if you're live, they just want to go straight to your Twitch. You know, it's like, oh, do you live stream on Twitch? But I've seen people like streaming, like using their camera phone pointed at their monitor and
at the Twitch.
right at the Twitch, and
Yeah.
like and they have like 1,000 like viewers on TikTok just from that. I'm like, damn. But
Yeah.
the key is they have like a sheet of paper or like a small iPad that says like, if you donate this amount of money, I'll shut off the game, or I'll say daddy chill if you send like the cheapest TikTok
Yeah,
donation.
the gifts and stuff.
Right? It's like these little things that they incentivize people to just watch via TikTok, you know?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Like, we didn't even know that people could just send you gifts. Like,
Oh, yeah.
we're like, it's crazy. Like, we got on 2 months ago, and I really haven't been on TikTok before that. So we're kind of late to the game, but early from like an outside perspective, like looking at like the long term of the app, right? It's 3, 4 years old.
Yeah.
Instagram's been around for 15, so like we're still ahead of the curve, but we're behind in a sense. I didn't know how to use it. The editing like pissed me off. I didn't know how to do it all, but it's just repetition and consistency.
And it took off too because TikTok started off as like what, like a karaoke app or something,
Dancing,
like, or
yeah.
yeah, and then it like just blew up into like all kinds of content and people becoming famous.
That's what we
from it.
were sitting here like, from like not ignorant, but we didn't know if there would be a market for what we do. Like, we were like, do people want to see these games? Like TikTok, we thought, hey, it's, whatever, this, like certain types of content. And then we realized like there's so many niches involved in that app
Oh yeah.
other than just what goes viral. So, you just need to do what you love to do, but also, like you said, tailor it to the app.
Right.
Like, we go above and beyond to make sure, we have like a Gaussian blur to make sure the videos look better. And there's these little things that like might not seem like a lot, but when you look at two different things, like the eye will pick one over the other.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny too because I saw something else that blew my mind that you guys posted, and it was the Flash web browser games like Fishy and the Impossible Quiz.
I knew somebody would love those games.
Let me tell you, those were middle school like
Yo, middle school
Classics.
computer class.
Yes.
Middle school computer
That's what I said. I
class,
started it out
baby.
like that. Middle school computer classes. You were not paying attention. You were playing Fishy. You were playing Run.
Yep.
Run.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Penguin Diner. Pax Ball.
Hacks ball. Oh my god.
And there was even one that I played. I don't know. This may be too obscure, but it was called Dinky Bomb. So Dinky Bomb was a turn-based game similar to, I don't know if you guys ever played Worms, but
Worms.
Okay.
it's the same concept as Worms, but it was in a Flash like lobby, and you could like play competitively, and people had like insane
great.
ranks in it. But it's similar. It just came out of that era of just like being in middle
What was
school
the,
and just playing these classic Flash games.
What was the .io game? You were like
Was it?
Oh my
They've
God.
made like a bunch of those, right? There's like Slither.io.
Slither.
That's the one.
what it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one's really
I was
popular.
thinking.
But is that similar to Fishy? Or am I wrong? I've never played Slither.io. Like
Fishy was yes and no. Like Fishy, you were just in the screen,
Yeah.
like waiting for the fish to swim by. But Slither, like you see the whole screen and you're kind of moving through, and you have to like cut off the other, like I don't know, whatever you call them, worm, snake. Like they're all moving, and then you have to get in front of the other one, and if it hits your path, you grow, and it's like Centipede, I think, on the old arcade games.
And it's like multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think Fishy was multiplayer. It was just like a
Nah,
single
Fishy
player thing, you know? Like I feel like it was rare at the time for any sort of multiplayer Flash games, you know?
That's why, like, Club Penguin we did a video on.
Yeah.
RuneScape, like, those
Oh,
games
those were big.
for-
Yeah.
like, huge.
Yeah.
That was, like, the first really online, like, internet gaming, at least for my generation of, like, I remember going on Club Penguin. Oh, my God.
And people
remember
getting
getting so
banned
mad.
from it.
And I remember
yup.
getting mad because I never paid for anything because it was just, like, an internet game. And everybody got, like, the pizza emote. All the penguins were flipping pizzas, and I couldn't. And I was, like, getting so tight.
Yeah.
And I looked, and it was like, oh, you have to spend $3. I'm like, oh, nah, definitely not.
I
Same thing Fortnite was doing.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, at that time they were making a lot of those games similar to Club Penguin. Like there was like Toontown and all this stuff that they would
Oh,
like have
Toontown.
commercials for to get
They
kids
had a,
to like
didn't they have a
spend their money.
didn't they have a Disney one? Wasn't there like one you could run around Disney World?
I'm
or
pretty
Disney
sure, yeah. And there was like
Webkinz.
Wizard one. Yeah, Webkinz was a thing too.
Webkinz. Oh my god.
Oh man, I think before Webkinz, I was. What was the one I was doing? It was like Neopets, I think, was another one.
Neopets,
Yeah.
Tamagotchi. Remember
Oh
those?
my
That's not
gosh.
internet, but
The little.
But it's all these like things where you're taking care of pets, or you're doing like mini games
Yep,
and stuff
yep.
like that. But
Toontown. I played that game a lot. We have to do a video on that.
yeah, that would make for a good one because I'm sure someone down the
about
line
Toontown.
has to remember these like obscure stuff. You know, like
Well, that's why we were like, you know what? We kind of created this channel to see like, yeah, we want to get a lot of people to watch it, but it was more so like, did you remember playing this because we played it?
yeah, exactly.
Like it's cooler to see people that had the same memory. Like we have so many DMs where people are like, I can't believe other people played this game.
Yeah.
Like a huge one is War of the Monsters. Like that's I feel like such a quiet PS2 game.
Yeah,
But the amount of DMs we got just asking like, how did you remember this game? I'm like, see, I would have never known that if I didn't, we didn't start a TikTok. Like,
It's such an incredible feeling too when you get those comments on the post that are like, dude, like I haven't seen this game in so long. Like, thank you for posting it, or it's great.
we
man.
try and respond to literally everybody because it just we started this to really not I would say make a community. Like we wanted to talk to other people that are interested in what we do. It's not every day you find people that want to play these old systems. We get the trolls in the comments
Oh,
that are
yeah.
like, why are you playing this? Get a PS5, you're broke. I'm like, yo, all right, whatever. Like, you're missing out because I'm having fun with a $3 game and you're paying $75 for the new ones.
exactly. Yeah, and that goes back to what we were saying earlier: is that they're missing out. But it makes me think of like when I've listened to like old music and like the first time I listened to like Led Zeppelin. It's like I had no
Yeah.
business listening to them because like, it's a different era, but you grow an appreciation for these things. So maybe I feel like kids today are going to do the same with old games. They might find these things.
I hope so.
Hopefully, they might find like Aladdin for Super NES and they're going to be like, "Oh shit, like this slaps. Like it's really freaking good."
You know what game that I didn't know until we started doing this that you showed me? Sunset Riders. Have you played?
No. What is that one all about?
Oh
SNES.
my
It's
God.
on Super Nintendo. Fantastic game.
Really?
Another game I grew up
It
on.
was a stand-up arcade, which I didn't know.
Uh-huh.
I did the research, and then I guess they converted it to SNES or whatever. It might have been on the regular Nintendo. You have to see if you could find a ROM or something where you could play it.
I'm definitely going to look into that. And that was pretty common too. Them taking like arcades and porting them to consoles. Like, I mean,
Yep.
they did that with Mortal Kombat and a lot of these big games that were popular in arcades. And it gave people the
NBA
opportunity to
Jam.
play them at home. Yeah, NBA Jam. Oh my gosh.
Donkey Kong, all these games, they literally, that was like the thing. They just moved them to sell them so you could play them at home.
Exactly.
Now, we discovered a whole nother world. Somebody commented like, it wound up being like a troll or whatever. He was like, "Yo, just emulate the games. Why are you like buying them or why are you whatever?"
Mm.
So I was like, "Emulate? What even is that?" So, because I'm a console kid, I don't know what emulation is. So I do all this research, and it turns out there's like emulators that run these consoles on a PC
Oh,
or
yeah.
on a computer. So I'm actually building right now. I was gonna wait to post the videos, but I could tell you we're building like our own portable arcade units.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're running like, have you heard of like Raspberry Pi, all that stuff?
Yes.
So we're literally building, rather than like building an arcade unit, we're building like the controller board that can plug to like HDMI, so I could go to another person's house and plug it into their TV and play.
That's so awesome. Raspberry
Yeah.
Pi is really like when that came out, people immediately started emulating with them. They're like, all right, how can I successfully play N64 on this thing so that they could plug it
So
into
we
their
have-
TVs?
Yeah, we have an N64 emulator. We just need to get like we didn't update like the processing because you have to go into like the computer Raspberry Pi and like change configuration. And we have like heat sinks we have to put on it.
Mm-hmm.
But once we do that, it should run them smoothly. So
That's awesome. Yeah, that's gonna
yeah,
be a
we're
lot of
excited
fun.
for that. I've been filming like the whole process of cutting the wood, sanding it, sawing, all that stuff. So we're gonna probably make a bunch of videos on that.
It's nice to see appreciation for like arcades too. Like because there's so many ones that come to mind for me that I played growing up, like freaking the Simpsons arcade that you could play up
Yep.
to like 4 people at once, and there's so many Marvel versus Capcom, like playing those games in like bowling
Yeah, we
alleys and
have it.
arcades. Those were just so good, and I like how now in like Walmart they're selling these like 1-up ones that
Yep.
they're making these things more accessible today, which is at least good.
Yeah, the 1-ups are really cool. They're just super expensive.
Yeah, that's the
Like
only
I
thing.
think
Yeah.
I think the emulator, like all in that we're building, would be like half the price of like a 1-up, and you can get a bunch of games on it. It's just building it, the time.
Right. Yeah, it's more of a time thing for sure. And oh man, it's funny because like I keep thinking of more and more things that were blowing me away with your guys' content. I saw the PS2 disc read thing. When I saw that, I'm like,
yeah.
I struggled with
Yeah.
that when I had a PS2.
We all know the struggle, man.
Oh,
Don't worry.
man.
Listen, that we still do.
I would put one in and it would be like disc read error. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'd have to like
You gotta
freaking
Back out.
back
go
out
in.
and yeah. Oh my
Yep, yep,
gosh.
yep.
That was such a struggle.
Well, it's crazy. I was sitting here. I was gonna make the video like people don't understand nowadays. Like I think I said I just want to play the game in peace, but it was like I was gonna say kids don't understand waiting to play their game, but I'm like, wait a minute. They have to download 10 hours worth of content. They understand waiting.
That's
They
true.
have to put the disc in and wait 15 hours until they can play it. So
It's funny. It went from blowing on the cartridge the right way to making sure you put it in the system the right way to, waiting for the disc to load up the right way.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
funny.
Yeah. It's like I'm sure kids will just like leave it going in their sleep or something, or let it go like when they're
Oh
like
yeah.
at school.
Well, they
and-
put it in rest mode now. And
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
what was your favorite system?
That's a good question, man, because there was just so many. Like, I would say the quick answer, if I had to choose one, was N64. I just have so
Okay.
many good memories of just playing local multiplayer with my cousins and my brothers with that. Like,
Yep.
we used to play like WCW versus NWO, and it was just like the cheesiest wrestling game, but it was so much
Yep.
fun. Like, just like hitting each other with chairs and like, oh my gosh, it was just that's what I really miss, is those local multiplayer moments like Mario Kart with 4 people, GoldenEye, all those things.
Mhm.
Yep.
But and I guess for you guys it would probably be the PS2, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for me, I grew up on the 2. I had a lot of games for the 3. I was lucky enough I got a hold of the I got the PS3 early, so I have the backwards compatible one.
Yes, yeah.
So like I mean I still play. Most of the games don't run as smooth on there as the actual PS2 because it goes through an upscaling process. So
Right.
like a lot of people will ask like why do your games look better? So it's actually because we're playing them on the 3. So if
Yeah.
you put a two into a 3, it tries to upscale it, but certain games weren't
They don't-
compatible with it.
Yeah, they don't run as smooth.
Because it's a funny story. I bought Scarface recently. I'd never had it as a kid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, I heard it was awesome. Let's play it. I get it. I put it in the 3. I'm pumped. It's like moving like this.
It's like
You
stuttering.
know, it's like barely moving. He's going, I'm like, I swear to God, I just spent all this money for a game that isn't working.
Oh.
So then hours worth of like reading subreddits. How can I fix this? Finally, they're like, just put it in the PS2. So I'm like, no way. I put it in the 2, it ran smooth. So certain games can't handle the upscaling, but I would say for me, I know I just went off on a tangent, but PS2, I have the most memories playing.
Now, before I ask this question, what about you, Vinny?
Yeah, what do you think?
It's tough, man. I mean, the PS2, I got a lot of memories. GameCube,
Oh,
I got a
GameCube
lot
is
of
so
memories
good.
on.
Yeah.
Like, I, to be honest with you, I don't even know if I could answer that question. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like, it's, if I had to pick between, Sony or Nintendo, I'd probably pick Sony.
Yeah.
But, not to take anything from Nintendo, though. All those Mario games are just incredible. My childhood.
It's like I
Yeah.
chose N64 as my favorite, but that's no shade to the other ones. It's like there's
Oh yeah,
you
no,
know,
absolutely.
it's like I just think of like, all right, what's the most nostalgic? Boom, N64.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, everybody has like that. Like I always grew up, I was only a Sony kid. I never had any of the others. I played them obviously at other people's houses.
Right.
But like, it comes down to each system has its best games. Like that's what
Yeah.
I think. Like, and that's why I just feel like, I mean, N64 had a plethora of games too, like all different, and so did PS2. And I mean, I guess every console does. I just might not be as open to playing them now because I already have a console that's my favorite.
Yeah. Like they have a term called like what is each system's like killer app. And I can always think like, all right, Xbox, like original Xbox, Halo, right? That's
Right.
like what you immediately think, or what is it? GameCube, Super Smash Brothers Melee. And then you go PC, Fishy. These are all things that these are the games that stick out right away. But I gotta ask this question now. I've been dying to ask you guys since you guys are such PS2 fans. Did you ever experience like the red screen of death?
No, don't. Oh my God, where's a piece of wood where I could knock on it?
Man.
Don't even.
Let me tell you
No.
something about this. It terrified gamers at the time. So picture the disc read error, but it goes
Okay.
off into like this red screen with a message on it, and it just basically tells you like, all right, you're not going to play this game. But the freaky part about it is there's this really eerie background noise while it has the message up, and it's just like wind blowing. It's just like
Really?
this
Is it
really
is it a virus?
it's not a
is it on the
virus.
system?
It's just like the whoever like made the system just decided to put this as like a warning screen for your game not working or not booting up.
Oh, so it's only if a game doesn't work. It doesn't get rid
Right,
of the
like
system.
it'll just so I should have
That's weird.
specified
Oh,
it
sorry.
doesn't kill your system like, let's say, like the 3 red rings did
Like
with the Xbox.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just it takes you to this creepy ass screen with this weird, and it's funny because
know that.
people online have put jump scares in that screen, so you have to be careful like where you're watching
Yeah,
it
like
on YouTube.
researching it.
Yeah, like they'll just pop a jump scare in and make it so much worse.
Yeah.
But it makes me remember of all the times when I played games as a kid and was unintentionally scared. Like where the devs
yeah.
weren't trying to scare you, but you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like for me, what comes to mind is Mario 64. You beat Bowser, you spin him around, you throw him into the thing, and then the key pops down. I don't know if you guys ever remember this, but if instead of grabbing the key, if you just sit there, it's dead silent. And all you can hear is like just Mario's footsteps, and that fucking creeps me out. Like it's just this dead silence, and it's like it's not like they were intending to do that to be scary,
yeah.
but I'm just sitting there like, okay, I'm gonna grab this key because this is just too fucking weird. It's too quiet, you know.
The amount of comments we saw for did you play King Kong by any chance?
I never
On the
played it,
PS2?
but yeah.
So there were these flying like creatures, but they wouldn't be on screen. And it was a first person, so like you're looking around, and out of nowhere, they're like covering the screen, screaming at you, trying to like eat your face. And then they'd finally you'd like get rid of them, and then there were 3 T-Rexes because you're in Skull Island, so like or on it, whatever. It was like I wasn't terrified. I could definitely tell you like I got jump scared a couple times,
Yeah.
but the comments, I was terrified. I started reading them like I kind of want to go back to see why this could be terrifying. And we played a couple missions. I'm like, all right, I could definitely see why people were terrified of this game. And that wasn't their objective. That's just what the, animals were from the movie.
Exactly. But now I'm going to give you an example of the devs intentionally trying to scare gamers. So there was a game by Lionhead Studios called Black and White. And it was basically like a god game where you're like building a village with people in it, and you can have like an animal character that you choose as a pet that like is sort of like the god of your village. Anyways, the devs programmed pre-recorded names: Mike, Alex, Vinny, Nick, right? And it's just the dev whispering. When you play the game at random, depending on what you put as your name when you installed the game, you'd hear the whispering of your name in your headset.
Oh my god, that is crazy.
That's crazy.
So of course I put in Alex. I'm playing the game. I'm in a quiet moment near like woods, and I hear Alex at 1 a.m. playing the game. I was terrified. And I did not know this until years later that I looked it up, and they intentionally did that. Like, that's like expert level trolling.
The game that I could say I remember like really being like, I should probably play it tomorrow. I used to play Dead Space like really late with Turtle Beaches on.
Yeah.
At like 3:30 in the morning,
turned off.
everything is dark but the TV. You're walking through a hallway in the ship, and a pipe bursts. Like especially I'd crank my headphones so it's like, you're like literally there.
Yeah.
That game I remember, not necessarily like not wanting to play anymore, but I was like, all right, this is a different level.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever played Resistance either.
Ooh.
Those games. they scared the crap out of me too.
I never played them, but I know that was like that was the killer app of PS3. You can argue, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What I love though about the
Little Big
PS3.
Planet.
Oh yeah, Little Big Planet.
LBP, baby.
I loved how their online service was free once upon a time.
I had PS3. That was awesome.
Right?
Like, yeah, they didn't have parties, but I didn't have to pay. Like,
It's funny you mentioned that because I remember like when PS3 and Xbox 360 were like both popping. I remember like a bunch of my friends had 360 and they'd always be like, "Dude, like get an Xbox," and I'd be like, "Nah, dude, I got free online.
Yeah.
The exclusives are better." But I mean, that was always one of the arguments. The free online was the best. Unfortunately, those times are over. But
They're gone.
and I don't know if it's just because I don't know a lot on the Xbox side because I always had PlayStation. But for me, like just thinking about the Sony exclusives, like I can't even imagine games that can compete with them.
Exactly.
Like you have
yeah.
Spider-Man, you have Uncharted, you have, all these games that it's like, at that one point MLB, right? They only had MLB
show,
on.
yeah, that's on Xbox.
God of War. I know it's not on it now,
Yeah.
but I'm just thinking in my head like the exclusives for me. I'm like, what games do they have other than Halo that are competitive? Like,
Yeah, like PlayStation's really going in a good direction with like their like console only titles like they're gonna do Spider-Man 2. They're making a Wolverine game that looks insane from the same people
Yep.
that are making the Spider-Man one. So that's gonna
sick.
be fantastic, yeah. And they definitely had some Wolverine games for PS2 that were actually pretty fun too. That I'm pretty sure they were movie games too. I want to say,
yeah,
but
we need a Superman game. That's the one superhero.
just not
that
for
they-
N64 because that one was
Yeah,
dog shit.
he knows. He
Oh
knows.
yeah.
We need a PS5 Superman game.
Yes, and like just totally revamped, and
Brand new.
good graphics, good gameplay,
Because
similar to
listen,
Spider-Man.
you got the Arkham games; those were awesome, right? You have Spider-Man; those were all amazing. You gotta give me Superman.
Absolutely,
Has to be done.
yeah. But it should be from the same devs that made the N64 one. Like they should come out of retirement,
See if they could save themselves.
save face,
redemption
and
Tosh.0 redemption.
exactly.
No more rings in the Superman
The first
game.
thing they have to do is play through their own game.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. That would be something.
That game is expensive. We went to a store that we go to, Kill Screen Games in Asbury.
Yeah,
And it was like, what was it was in box, like
was
the
in
original
box,
box.
the
It was
original
like
box.
$80-$90.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
for a game that sucks.
and dude, like an out of box Mario Party or Mario Party 2. Last time I checked, is at least $30 or $40. Like
Yeah.
there's, let me tell you, those games from that era, they have a ton of value. I can go into
Oh yeah, Ape
Even-
Escape. Ape Escape is like $50.
DK64 is up there too.
now. Imagine having them sealed.
Dev-
Woo.
Def Jam Fight for New York.
Yeah,
It's like $180 now.
it's so crazy, and I just feel like it's mainly from that era that those are like the highest in
Well,
value.
think about it. I was thinking about it, right? The amount of games they produce and digital, right? Now they're digital. They'll never run out of. They'll sell that game forever unless they decide we're shutting the servers down. But like,
And you see, that's where I don't like this digital thing because, and I sound old in saying that, but it's like
know.
the game, like game preservation is dying. And that's why
it's
I
gone.
love your guys' content, because you're trying to bring that to the forefront. Is game preservation is still a big thing,
and that's like I wouldn't say a thing we're fighting. Yeah, like we're fighting back and forth between, like, we have the emulator now. It's not up and running yet, but like we still want the game. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Could we play it on there? Could I get Def Jam and not spend 180 on it? Yes, but it's like there's something about having the case, the cover, it's just it's different than, okay, get the
That
downloadable version.
physical material.
It's
Exactly.
like vinyl compared to Spotify, like vinyl took a huge, like it got, whatever it's called, revamped, or there's a huge surge in people that want to hear vinyl now. just because there's like something about like having it physically.
So maybe there might be like a resurgence for going to a store, buying a physical copy of a game.
I hope we're the cause of it.
Hopefully, I hope so. You know, it's always nice to see anyone still hanging on to these things, you know. But
It's
why
also sad knowing that people traded them in
in a second too.
like 5.
That was me.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I knew that. You wouldn't have taken the interview.
Guys,
God.
let me tell you, I'm gonna be your biggest disappointment, and I did it because I just wanted what was like the hot system at the time. And the episode that I did with my brothers, we were kicking ourselves, saying how we had a bin of N64 cartridges that were just like, here you go, GameStop. Just fuck my life up, and I'll get like $5 and like a piece of lint back. Like, yeah, thank you. but all these games that are like worth so much now. Like I had like
Conker's is like 170, so if you had 160, if you had that,
yeah, so messed up. But yeah, if I could do it all again, I would freaking save everything. I would not.
The problem is too, a lot of these, N64, SNES cartridges, you go on like eBay, and they're all just like fake. They're all like the fake, reprocessed ones. It's not that you're not getting the authentic thing. You don't even know if these games are gonna work when you put them in.
You're getting one that has like magic marker on it from like Blockbuster. You know, like
Yep.
It's so crazy. If you guys ever come across a Donkey Kong Country cartridge that says Tournament Edition on it, that is worth a ton, by the way. Really? So if you see that, dive on it, protect it, put it in a case, because if you look that up on eBay, that is worth a ton.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, even just going through the collection I have, some are worth 40, 50, 70, 80. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, what were games like 25, 30 bucks, maybe 35? Brand new? I don't remember really.
Certain ones, actually, I remember seeing like Toys R Us catalogs where certain games, like even using Donkey Kong Country as an example, were even like 50 bucks or even 60.
Oh, wow.
Like, so.
But still, they're probably double now.
Yeah, that's the thing. But
that's why digital is just killing that. Like, they could sell an unlimited amount of copies. They have the files. They don't need to worry about, we only printed X amount of discs. We're not making it again. Like,
some of the digital
on a server,
games
like
on PS5 are still $70.
yeah, and especially like with PC games, it's like they sell keys for games when they come out for cheaper, But yeah, that's the thing. But guys, unfortunately, we just reached our time, and man, I feel like I could talk to you guys for hours, and this was so awesome.
We'll set it up another time.
Oh, you guys are welcome anytime. And one thing I wanted to leave off with, if you guys have one recommendation for a game that you want to say to the people out there, what would that be?
One game.
It could be one you're playing now or like an old one. Does
it have to, like, all right, so should it be like first, like just single player story, or can it be like a fun game to play with friends?
It could be anything you want.
Oh
anything
my God.
I
wanted him to narrow it down so it's easier.
It could even just be one you're playing now. Like while you're thinking of it, for me, I'll recommend a pretty easy one, God of War. I just started playing the new one it's been out for PS4, but it did just come out for PC, which I didn't own a PS4, so that gave me a first opportunity of playing it. It runs fantastic on the PC, which is beautiful because sometimes when they port these PS4 games to PC, it could get a little dicey. But that would be my recommendation is God of War.
Have you played the original ones?
I played a little bit of them, and not because I didn't like them, but just because I just did not devote the time to it. But I would love to revisit them for sure.
I've been playing Super Nintendo Turtles in Time.
Oh, dude, you just named like one of my favorite games of all time.
Dude, I mean, as far as like multiplayer wise, like
you could throw the enemies at the screen, and like the music of that game is fire. Like
Yep.
oh my god. Like I still listen to that soundtrack. It's phenomenal.
Fantastic.
I would pick if someone's never played a PS2 game, like recommending it off the bat, I'd pick Spider-Man 2 just because of how much memory, like how many memories I have of that, or Battlefront 2. I just feel like I still play Battlefront 2 on PS2, not the new one, and it never gets old to me. I can play a full day's worth of that game and still play it over and over.
Absolutely. So much
I'm a huge
replayability.
Star Wars nerd, so
Oh my god, there's so many good Star Wars games. But if you guys have anything to promote, fire away.
really just follow us on TikTok. I think it's the Vintage
The Vintage
Voyagers.
Voyagers.
On TikTok is our handle. Our Instagram is it's the Vintage Voyagers or Vintage Voyagers. If you look it up, you'll know it. We're planning on doing a lot of giveaways, so we're setting up some things in the works right now that we can finally start giving back to everybody that's supporting us. So, drop a follow, sub to our YouTube, the Vintage Voyagers. There's no content up there yet. We're working on
it.
but at 25K, we have some big plans to finally start giving back to everybody that has shown us so much support. And, we can't, I'm so grateful. We're both so grateful that we want to start giving back. So, yeah, mainly TikTok is going to be like our heavy platform. Then we're going to switch to Twitch and just grow on all of them. So stay in tune, and that's really all I can.
Yeah,
think
man.
that's
I
it.
mean, one of the reasons why we started this too is, we wanted to just have a positive influence on not only the gaming community but just people in general, man. So, the fact that, you're gracious enough to have us on this podcast, um, the fact that we're, we say it all the time. There's people that, look forward to our posts on TikTok, and, the support just means the world to us. And just keep watching, because, without, the people, we're nothing. So that's what we do it for.
Well, there you have it, guys. And listen, after an hour and a half of tech support, we made it to the end here, which is a pretty epic achievement. And I'm so glad that we were able to get everything up and running for tonight's episode. And yeah, I can't thank you guys enough for taking the time to be on tonight. And thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another episode. Don't forget to rate and review the show. And we will see you guys next week. So thank you for listening.